People are growing increasingly uncomfortable with how much it's costing them for a tank of gas. In some cases, people have already canceled their summer road trip plans after 2 years of not being able to go anywhere. So what is going on? For some insight, we're joined by Patrick Haan, the head of petroleum analysis at GasBuddy. Patrick, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
What is going on with prices right now? Why have they climbed so much in Saskatchewan?
Well, we've been seeing prices climb across Canada, across the US. A lot of this is happening, well, first and foremost, because of COVID. That is early on in the pandemic. Demand plummeted along with prices, and that caused oil producers to scale back. Fast forward to the economy reopening, demand started to go up. It started to outpace the amount of oil being produced. Then Russia came along and invaded Ukraine. That widened the imbalance between supply and demand and caused prices to soar. COVID also shut down about 5% of refining capacity in North America. We saw the loss of several major refineries because of that. And so now not only is oil more expensive, but there's less capacity to refine that oil into things like gasoline, diesel, heating oil, and jet fuel. And that's where a lot of the price increase we're experiencing is coming from, as gasoline inventories are declining to near record low levels.
So normally provinces like Ontario and BC pay significantly more than we do in Saskatchewan, but we're getting awfully close to similar pricing. Is there a reason for that?
Well, a lot of what we're seeing here in the prairies is because the market is tied to what the Rockies Mountains and the Great Lakes regions are, and we're seeing prices explode there on the other side of the border. And unfortunately, much of Saskatchewan is a price taker. Of course, we do have the refinery in Regina, but not a whole lot of insulation here from what's going on in the States. And that is that gasoline inventories, again, at least in the Midwestern United States, inventories of gasoline are at their lowest level ever for this time of year. And that's getting pulled into what Canada is seeing in terms of the high prices.
How bad can this get?
Well, that's the $1 million question. I think for now, Saskatchewan is, hovering just under the $2 a liter mark in terms of the average. I think it's possible that if any little issue arises, it's a matter of when, not if, we do see the province hit that $2 a liter mark. And we may stay close to the $2 a liter mark for a good portion of the summer, unless there's some drastic improvement between Russia and Ukraine or an economic downturn.
So when is this going to come down, or is this our new normal? How long do you forecast this continuing?
Well, it could continue as long as Russia is actively fighting a war in Ukraine. And that's because many countries, including Canada, the US, and now the European Union, are cutting off the flow of that Russian oil to the market. And that's causing a widening rift between supply and demand that's going to keep prices high until that Russian oil starts flowing or other oil producers step in. But there's very little spare capacity worldwide to make up for the loss of Russian oil.
All right. Thank you so much for this, Patrick.
Thanks for having me.